Right guys, this is a long play review for Total Eclipse on the Amstrad CPC, released by Incentive in 1988. Now this of course uses the Freescape engine, arguably the first ever proprietary 3D game engine, and was the first time we saw a truly 3D environment on home computers. And guess what? It was first and primarily developed on the Amstrad CPC, haha! Now Total Eclipse wasn't the first game built on Freescape. Before this we had Driller and Darkside, then Castle Master after, but for me and many others, Total Eclipse is the most memorable one, with its Egyptian pyramids and theme and Indiana Jones style stuff, so that's why Total Eclipse is the first Freescape game I'm covering on my channel, and we're going to long play it, covering the most efficient route to find all the objects. The story goes, hundreds of years ago, Re, the Egyptian god of the sun, became weary with people and placed a curse whereby if ever the sun's rays during daylight hours were blocked, it would result in the moon exploding, thus causing the end of all life on Earth. It was found that on the 26th of October in 1930, a total eclipse will occur. So you, an archaeologist, land your biplane outside the Great Pyramid in Egypt, which contains a shrine of the sun god Re, with the intention to destroy it. However, you only have 2 hours to do so. There you go. That's the story. And so we're going to be exploring pyramids, solving puzzles, lots of exploring, and you're going to need to make maps to beat this game. And I'm using a map I found online. So that was a nice loading screen here, and here we are on the title screen. And a nice introduction to the game. So not only do you see the total eclipse that's soon to occur, but your biplane and the pyramid there. And the first thing to do here is climb on the wing of the biplane and collect an ankh. Now you've got to be collecting ankhs throughout the game. There's the first one collected, and you can see it appear in the top left corner. Ankhs will open doors in the game. It says you can collect up to 5 there, but there's actually more than 5. And we're going to collect all the ankhs. Not all of them will be needed. And we're going to collect all the treasure as well, and try and do the most efficient route to sort of explore every bit of the game. So we're going in the back door of the pyramid here, and we're going to open that door ready. We don't need to go through it yet, we're just getting there. Here's a water trough where you can replenish your water. And I'm going to probably now talk you through all the things that are happening around the edge of the screen. So you can see there was the water jar, which we just replenished. You don't want to get dehydrated. I'm not actually sure what happens when you run completely out of water for too long. I've not had a game over from it yet, but there we go. To the right is your heartbeat. If your heart beats too fast from taking damage, from falling too far, or traps in the game, there are dart traps in the game, and mummies that spew out poison darts. Heart beats too fast, it explodes, and it's game over. There's another ankh on the wall there, so you just need to go up to it and touch it. But first, we'll just quickly replenish our water just a little bit more. You see the water jar rise in there. To the left of the water jar is your wristwatch. It's just gone 8 o'clock, and the total eclipse is due to occur at 10. And you can see the position of the sun and the moon in the top right corner of the screen. To the left of the sun and the moon is your kind of like your score. It's actually the value of treasures you collected, and treasures can be found in like these blue containers. There's a blue vase there. So if I just actually look down and then move into it, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. So if you get absolutely square on with it, you can actually raid it a lot quicker. We'll perhaps see that more clearly on treasure chests later. I'm just trying to get angle up to it right. It can be quite difficult getting angles and stuff right in this, so I may not be perfect at playing this game, but there we go. Okay, first puzzle here. There's a block on the floor there. And if you switch to your pistol, you can use it to solve puzzles. For example, getting this staircase to appear. Aha! Okay. There's lots of little symbols on like the bottom bar just below the playing area. The main ones you might want to keep an eye on Oh, the free just above the stopwatch. Oh, hang on. There's a mummy in this room. Shoot the mummy to close the casket. There's a treasure chest as well, which we need to shoot the lid of. And there's also a water trough there to the right we can use. Talk about the symbols in just a sec. So here's a treasure chest. If you get perfectly lined up, you can raid it a lot quicker. See? There you go. So if you're absolutely square on, you can quickly raid treasure chests, which will be very key later on, where there's a treasure chest with a dart trap right above it and you need to raid it very quickly. Okay, symbols. Okay, look above the stopwatch and there's 3 symbols there are going to be quite, well, sorry, 2 symbols there that are quite important. There's an angle and step size. Now the angle is, oh, we can actually duck under this here, by the way. The angle one is right above the stopwatch there. Actually, something else to mention here. Now, we're going to shoot these symbols. Did you see that up arrow there? If we find a corresponding up arrow and shoot that, and we can shoot this floor as well to get rid of that. Actually, I think the match has already been made, so we don't need to find the other up arrow. But throughout the rest of the game, you will have to find 2 symbols and shoot both of them to make a match, and that will solve a puzzle. Ah, there's another puzzle in this room, actually. I'll come back to talking about symbols in a minute. See, there's a little blue wall there. I'm just going to turn in and then go to the side of it and push it in a northerly direction. Again, we'll come to the compass in a minute, see which direction you're going. But I'm going to spin round there. And now there's a door revealed. Aha! So yeah, the angle symbol. Can you see it? It's the just above the watch. Okay, actually, I'm not going to talk about this, the symbols now, because we're now in the illusion area. And this is very difficult to navigate because these little holes, which we're going through, can take you into random rooms. And you need to know the certain path to get through the illusion. The illusion section here. And your compass goes crazy here. And the directions change all the time. So I've actually been spun around here. And this is like going back through the wall you just went through, but actually you're not. And here's where we need to get to. And we've just completed the illusion. There you go. And round the back of the illusion exit is this symbol. And we're going to have to find a match for this. We're just going to shoot it in the middle. And then we're going to find the other symbol. And when we do that, then another secret is revealed. Okay, shall I talk about angles now? Okay, so just above the watch, there's a symbol there that has like a line at the bottom and then like another line coming up from it. That's like a 30-degree angle. You can press a key on the keyboard to change the angle, and this is like how quickly, how much you will move left and right and up and down, and looking up and down, sorry. So it's the angle of how far you will look each time. I'm not going to use it. I might use it here. So I'm going to go to the water tray. There you go. Just change the angle there. Just changing the angle. Just try and get into that water tray. And you can look up and down. I think you press F to look like straight ahead. So if you've been looking up and looking down, you press F and it'll basically put you on like a straight horizontal plane again. And U does a U-turn, immediate U-turn. Okay. Now, often when you come into a room, especially higher up, you might want to look down and check that you've got steps below you, or where the steps down are exactly, so you don't fall and take a lot of damage. There you go. Another little puzzle solved there. Shoot that to just get rid of it, basically, and then we can go up the stairs here. The other important symbol is the one to the left of the angle symbol, which is like that sort of stretched H. That's your step size. That's how quickly you move forward, how big your steps are. So you might want to choose small steps a lot of the time. Now, there's a chest on a pole here, but you don't want to get too close to it. So I've changed the step size to really small there. Did you see that symbol change? because when we shoot this pole, the chest will drop, but we don't want the chest to drop on our head, so changing the angle size there, changing the step size, ready? So just pushing forward a little bit. So it's that H, which is the step size. Might be 5th symbol from the left or 4th symbol from the right there. There we go. And now we can get to that chest. But don't let it crash on your head, otherwise it will be game over. Now, of course, you've got the compass there. That's very, very useful in the game. So keep an eye on that if you're following my path and want to work it out for yourself. Okay, get lined up with that chest. So it's a blue. Anything in blue is like a treasure chest. There we go. I've got everything from it. And because we were like absolutely straight on, we were able to raid that chest very quickly. Now there are some symbols that change on on the right of that status bar at the bottom there. They're not much use apart from like the little stick figure, which is like the 3rd from the left, because you can actually change to like a crawl or prone position. And you're going to need to do that to like crawl under certain objects, and there are certain exits that are basically hidden under like stairs and stuff. In fact, we're going to find an ankh hidden under these stairs here. So I'm actually gone to a prone position. Can you see the stick figure is now changed to a stick figure on the floor? If you look to on the right there of the bottom status bar, 3rd from the left, and now I'm standing up. There you go. Hopefully that's explained the symbols now. That might prove a little bit useful if you're trying to work out how to beat the game yourself from watching this video. And I'll try and be as descriptive as possible, guys. It's a little bit difficult, and especially a little bit difficult to remember everything that I'm doing here and where I'm going, because I've used some guides I found from the internet, some guides I found from an old Amstrad Action magazine. There was even a map in the Amstrad Action magazine, and I think you can find a lot of them on the CPC Power website too. Ah, there's that up arrow. Remember we shot one earlier? Don't need to shoot this one for some weird reason anyway. But filling up our water there. I'm just making sure here. So we filled up our water there at the little bath I'm stood in. Ah, there's an eye to shoot. There we go. That's going to solve another puzzle. I'm going to come out of that room. So press U to do a U-turn, and you're facing the wall again. Press the fire button to change from your normal cursor to the gun sight. So the screen remains static, and then you can move the cursor anywhere around the screen and then shoot with your gun. The gun has unlimited bullets too. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about the game a little bit. Really nice use of colours, even though it's only mode 1, so they can only have 4 colours in the game. But they've done some nice stippling and sort of shading effects there to give the illusion of like more colours and stuff on the screen. Really nice, like kind of around the plane area as well. I like the pillars and scrolls at the sides there, and like the Egyptian themes and stuff like that. Really nicely done and colourful. I like the use of the yellows and oranges here. And the grey and the blues make a difference with the black. So actually, I think they've done very well with the graphics here. Obviously, this is really simplistic stuff for a 3D game. Anyone who's never experienced like an Amstrad or a retro game coming from modern gaming, and you know what you can do in modern first-person 3D games and stuff like that, will be like laughing at this maybe, but this was highly impressive at the time. There was nothing else like this, and this is probably arguably the first 3D engine. Okay, so yes, this does move at a snail's pace, but what do you expect from the first proper full 3D game on the Amstrad or any 8-bit computer? If anyone thinks of a proper full 3D, real 3D game on the Amstrad that came out before any of these Freescape games, let me know, because I'm not aware of them. And feel free to correct me in the comments. Another chest there. and a decent amount of loot so far. Okay, so this was coded by brothers Ian and Chris Andrew with Sean Ellis and Paul Gregory. Okay, so the Freescape engine, which what this is built on, was finished around 1987 by Major Developments, who were basically the software department of the publisher Incentive. Shoot the rope there to get that ank. Incentive were founded and ran by Ian Andrew, and he created Major Developments with his brother Chris, who he tasked with building the engine, the Freescape engine. Finding coders to help out proved really difficult, as many declined, declaring it completely impossible on the Amstrad and 8-bit computers. But Sean Ellis and Paul Gregory joined the team, believing they could help make it happen. And together, on an Amstrad CPC 61208, they succeeded in building it, which you can see here. The first game, 1987's Driller, wowed the press and gamers alike, despite its slow speed. But it was an incredible achievement. Then after Dark Side, and by this game, Total Eclipse, many tweaks and improvements were made. Including a coding language for the engine, and eventually a whole building and level designer, which was eventually released to the public as Incentive's last release in 1992 as the 3D construction kit. Ian himself, basically the owner of Incentive, will actually use this himself to build new levels and sequels in Total Eclipse 2. The Sphinx Jinx is one of them. Which we may look at on the channel in the future if you guys like this video. But this wasn't actually, Freescape wasn't the first game building kit that Incentive produced. They were also responsible for the wildly popular Graphic Adventure Creator, or GAC for short, which was a text adventure engine with graphics for locations. Indeed, the graphics for GAC games you could build were like shaded geometry shapes, like foreshadowing Freescape, basically. There's like hundreds, if not thousands, of text adventures on the scene, released commercially and in the public domain using the GAC, or Graphic Adventure Kit. So, sorry, Graphic Adventure Creator Kit. There you go. Shoot that wall there, and you can actually see now a pressure pad on the floor, which if you'd stood on, you would have been hit by loads of like poison darts. So that will get you through this room, and you can avoid the pressure pad then. And there's another ank to collect. We've actually already got 5 anks, and that's probably our 6th or 7th ank. So we don't get to see that represented in the top left corner, because it only shows 5 collected at a time. And another treasure to collect here. Okay, a little bit more about Incentive for you guys then. After the 3D construction kit in 1992, which was quite popular, actually came with a VHS video as well you could watch to help you learn the kit. After that, Incentive renamed themselves to Dimension International as it moved into virtual reality development, which was kind of taken off and quite popular in the early 90s, then kind of died out, and now here we are in 2019 and it's getting kind of popular again. Then they soon became renamed to Superscape, which concentrated on mobile game ports of licensed games such as a few Lego games and movie licenses like Fight Club and Alien vs Predator. They were then purchased by Glue Mobile in 2008, and technically are still going today. So there we go. Also, the original title of this game was called Curse, apparently. Another little tidbit of stuff there for you. Let's talk about... oh, hang on, what's this room? I'm trying to remember. Yes, there's something hidden under the staircase here. Sorry, I need to change the angle there. I'm changing the angle. Just spinning around wildly there. Just been very careful here not to fall off. There's something hidden under the staircase. Oh yes, issue 180 of Retro Gamer magazine has a making of article on this game. It's actually quite a good read, although kind of fairly light on juicy stories and detailed info, but it does give a nice overview of the game. However, I did find something interesting if you're really nerdy and technical regarding the memory usage of this game on the Amstrad. Now, apparently 20 kilobytes was used for routines, 10 kilobytes for game-specific parts, and 10 kilobytes for the actual data. What was left was used for buffers, variable storage, and calculations. I think maybe one or two of you out there will find that interesting. And here's another Ankh for you. Let's talk about the other versions of the game. So basically, this was the main primary version of Total Eclipse on the Amstrad. And then it was ported to the ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64, the Atari ST, Amiga, and MS-DOS. And now the Speccy version. Now, it has been said that it runs a little faster than the CPC version. However, to be honest, it's actually kind of hard to tell if it does or doesn't. Maybe? I don't know. It's hardly noticeable. However, the graphics, of course, especially in the main game window on the Speccy, are much worse. They're in 2 colours, making some indoor areas look really messy, to be honest. Although it does a decent job. So I would say probably the Amstrad version is better. And the Commodore 64 version, it appears it runs the slowest of the 8-bit versions. But again, to be completely honest, it's really hard to tell when it's moving at like, what's this, like 2 frames per second? I don't know. It's hard to tell. The Commodore 64 version looks pretty much identical to the CPC version, but has music throughout, which is pretty decent. It's whether that music will start to grate on you or not, because it takes a good 30 to 40 minutes to beat the game. Whether you prefer the sound effects of the Amstrad version over the music of the Commodore. Also, maybe the Amstrad version potentially runs a little faster. So, given this is the lead version, and maybe I'm slightly biased, but I'd say this is the best of the 8-bit versions, personally. You may disagree, and that's totally fine. It's not a big issue. So yes, this came out on the Atari ST and Amiga too, on the 16-bit machines. It uses a mouse and is icon driven as well. So you have to click icons to move and stuff. It plays at a decent frame rate and introduces a torch mechanic for rooms that are in the dark. Both versions have music, with the Amiga version sounding a bit better. But again, like the Commodore 64, it might get a bit annoying after a while. But it's actually for a 16-bit game, it's pretty decent overall, and it got decent scores in the magazines at the time, around the sort of late 70%, 80% of kind of scores. Lastly, it appeared on the MS-DOS too, and is pretty much identical to the CPC version, actually, from the graphics and stuff like that, but runs much faster. So there we go. Okay. So, it's without you guys looking at a map whilst watching this video, it's kind of hard to sort of describe, right, I'm now going from this location to that location to perform that task. So hopefully it's kind of enjoyable to watch. Yes, it's going to move very, very slowly. There may be some little bit of confusion here and there with like what's going on with this room and why did you appear there and not where we expected. I'll try and describe as best I can when I see it. So I'm just trying to get lined up this door. That can prove problematic sometimes. Okay, just looking down there, make sure the steps below us. Ah, yes. Okay, there's a door hidden underneath here. There's actually 2 doors. I don't know what that noise is there. It just randomly happens in this room. Not quite sure what that is. So now we're crouching, And I believe I'm coming up to my most hated area in the game. Ah, Nefertiti's D on the top floor. I hate this. There is this thin, tiny little skywalk. What would you call this? I don't know. But it is so easy to fall off. And this is one of the issues with the game. The game knowing your position at times. Because sometimes you think you might have just got right to the close to the edge and you're fine. And then you rotate round and then suddenly fall off. And like, hang on, I haven't actually moved forward or back. But as you sort of move around, you do actually kind of move forward a little bit or back a little bit. So you have to be really careful, because if you fall off here, not only will you take some quite a bit of damage and your heart rate will go up quite a lot, but you're going to have a lot of backtracking and weaving around the pyramid to get back to the starting position there, and that's very frustrating. So I'd recommend taking a save point before trying to cross this bridge or whatever you want to call it. Yes, actually I think if you press I in the game, you get a little pause menu and you can actually save your progress and position to tape or disc, which actually is a really nice handy feature, especially if you're playing this blind without a map or a hint or solution or whatever, and you want to work it out. That will be very handy in doing mapping. Now, to be honest, guys, I think I've played this as a kid, many years ago, of course, and I had a bit of fun with it. You know, sort of plodding around the pyramid, shooting things, and experimenting and seeing what the rooms had and all that kind of stuff. But I got pretty cheesed off of it fairly early on, and I couldn't be bothered mapping it. So it's one of those games where you have to map. Right, this is a very dangerous room because there's a dart trap on the ceiling above this treasure. Now, you can avoid this treasure if you want to. I'm just trying to get to it at the moment and line up with it. I'm getting more and more hit by the darts. I want to be sort of like absolutely straight on with this treasure to like raid it quickly, and I'm just very slightly at an angle. I'm just trying to do my best to get lined up with it. It's a real nightmare. You can actually avoid this treasure if you don't want to. You don't have to get it, but I want to try and do like 100% sort of completion of the game. And wherever you stand, you're still pretty much going to get hit by the dart. And I'm kind of panicking here a little bit. I'm making a right hash of it. Oh, there we go. Finally lined up. And then the exit, I think, is west, below, just underneath these stairs I'm on at the moment. Now, you can't really technically recover your health, which is your heart rate, but you can actually take a rest and let your heart rate recover. And as you take a rest, your stopwatch spins around and lots of time is lost doing that. So you want to try and avoid that where possible. So my heart's beating quite fast now. There's also this is another dangerous room. There's actually a mummy. That's a mummy there, believe it or not, at the bottom of those stairs. And it's also firing poison darts. So you want to try and get behind the mummy as quick as possible. There's the mummy. And you saw it shooting at me there. I'm getting a little bit panicked there and making a little bit of a hash. But we're now behind the mummy, so we're safe. And we actually want to go up the staircase behind the mummy, ironically enough. Okay. Review scores at the time in Amstrad Action magazine in its Christmas issue, which is actually technically January 1989, which is issue 40. Amstrad Action awarded Total Eclipse Master Game status, also giving away a free demo of the game on the cover tape. Oh, I'm using the rest here. Press R to rest. You can see the watch hand and the time ticking away there. And my heart rate is now slowed. And I think we'll be okay. So they awarded, Total Eclipse a Master Game status and gave a free demo away on the cover tape of the magazine. Were highly complimentary about the game in the review, giving the graphics a 91%. Sonic's 34%, grab factor 92%, staying power 95%, and overall AA rating of 93%. That's a really whopping high score, that is. And I'm thinking about what score I would give this game. I think I'll reveal that later, but it is a really technically impressive game. But you have to think about, is this fun? And how much did it grab me? And how much did it pull me back? And the honest answer at the time, when I was, 10 years old, I got completely lost in it. And it was kind of confusing at times at the different locations. Like in this room, there's like 4 or 5 doors, and you need to know that, like, you come out that top door on the far right, and you need to go in the next door, and that pings you out the 3rd door to get into this room. Otherwise, you get warped to another location. Okay, I've just pushed a block there, which is actually in between those steps, and that will make a bridge to get up to that higher section there. So yeah, like here, there's it's actually 6 doors in here, with a lower door, which we're actually going to go through, and 5 upper doors. And if you come out that top right one, and then you got to know to go in the first door on your right, not any of the others. Otherwise, you get warped to the wrong location, then you're all lost again. And it's like, if you hadn't made a map and worked it out, it's a bit of a nightmare. So this is a game for people that like to take their time and invest in a game and spend hours and days working on it, and are willing to take pen to paper, draw maps and plan it all out and mark locations of things and stuff. If you don't have the patience to do this game is probably like a 60 or 70%. If you kind of enjoy doing that kind of stuff, then yeah, this is a 90% a game. I was certainly maybe not bother with the earlier Freescape games. Oh, thank God we can fill up a water here. The earlier Freescape games like Driller and Darkside, I found them... if you find this dull, you'd find those games really dull. They're set in space, so it's like a space setting, and I think even Incentive realised at the time that it wasn't grabbing people as much as they hoped. Setting it in a real world location, and an exciting real world location like Egyptian pyramids and stuff, will grab players a lot more, because we kind of relate to it more, or we can feel a bit like Indiana Jones here and stuff like that. So when I first had my choice to play Freescape games, I chose Total Eclipse. The games after Total Eclipse were Castle Master, which didn't grab me as much as Total Eclipse as well. Technically, it's probably the better game. But Castles can look kind of drab at times, especially with the limited colour palette here. I just love the vibrant oranges and yellows of the Egyptian pyramid. So I think my preference is probably Total Eclipse over Castle Master, but kind of just meh about Driller and Darkside. Although it does have its real... those games do have their ardent fans and swear by them. Now, obviously, the Amstrad had plenty of 3D games around before Freescape and stuff, but they were basically either sort of vector graphics or lines, and the objects weren't filled in. This is the first true solid 3D games on Amstrad and 8-bit systems, unless anyone else in the comments can recommend another game that came out before Driller and Darkside in 1987 and this in 1988. I can't think of any. Okay, we're actually doing quite well here, and not too far off the end. Oh, let's go under the stairs here. I think we're coming to my least favourite location again. Nephrites D. Oh, I hate this. So same thing again, guys. So the trick here is to get in a prone position. change the angle to the lowest angle possible, which I'm doing now, and then the step size to the lowest possible. There it is. See that H has changed? And then just take your time. Now, if you hold down the forward key, you actually start increasing in speed, so you're better off going forward, 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 rather than sort of forward, 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 or holding it down. You'll go in a even slower speed by just tapping it and moving forward tiny bits by tiny bits. And don't be afraid to have a quick look around and make sure you know where you are on this like bridge or whatever. But there are points in this where you're standing normally and then you sort of move around, you look around and you end up falling off. I think that's kind of a bit of I wouldn't say a bug, but I think it's something they should have sorted out. I think it, as I mentioned earlier, when you actually move around it like here, you're actually slightly moving forward as well at the same time. Just slightly, so you're going in a very small sort of circle maybe, but it's like more of an ellipse as you move forward. I think you get what I'm saying. So you're just presented with a wall right in front of you here in this section. Okay, and here we are. It's got the dart trap here. Remember this before? We had the treasure in the middle. Don't worry about it. Just go straight through the west door there. And we've got the mummy in this room again. So just go really quickly, but make your way down the stairs. You're going to take more damage by falling than the mummy's dart hitting you. Takes quite a few hits before the heart rate starts increasing. Sorry, I got too big of an angle here. Changing the angle. Takes a bit of damage. Start to panic a little bit. Really, the game is quite forgiving. The frustration and difficulty comes in with, like basically falling off that bridge in that previous section and having to work your way all around again to get to that bit. And that could be very frustrating. So time is your energy. Time is probably your biggest enemy. But we will complete this with plenty of time to spare. Okay, do you remember these 5 doors, guys? So we need to go in like the 4th door from the left, and then go into the 1st door on the right. And that will take us out on from the 3rd door. So when we go in this door, we'll come out the door to the left of it. And bing, there we are. Same room. But now, remember we pushed this block across? We've now kind of made a bit of a bridge. So there was that blue block we moved, and now we can get across here. Now in a lot of the solutions, it's actually missing this bit. There's actually a head here we need to shoot. There we go. And basically that will clear the path in a later section that's not too far away from us. And actually if we go back through this door, we come back into the previous room. There we go. Now remember we've got the mummy in this room. And we're going to go to the staircase to the right there. And then we're just going to move as quickly as possible. There we go. And the mummy's shooting at us. Unfortunately, we can't do anything to stop the mummy shooting at us here. Okay, in this next room across here, another sort of clever little puzzle, but like my second most hated room. You need to look down a little bit, and you can see there's like a path across horizontally. Get your gun and shoot it, and it pivots around, like so. And it pivots at a 90 degrees angle or whatever. And what you want to do here is, guys, is, again, like that sky bridge, as I call it, crawl, get the lowest angle and the smallest step size, get to the middle of it, and make sure you're right in the centre. So use that as a guide across the left there. Shoot it and it'll pivot round, and then you can get to that door. You've got to be absolutely spot on there, guys. Yeah, I think we're okay. Just. So shoot it, pivots around, and if you're lucky and you were careful, you're still on it. I'm still on it. Just very could have easily fallen down there, and then we would have a nightmare working our way around again to get to the back to that point. Now look around to your right here, and then look down, and you'll see a block on the floor to shoot, which sometimes disappears, which is a bit odd. But a little bug there, and that clears that doorway. There's a bird symbol there, but we don't need to shoot that. Okay, I'm going to spin round because we actually need to go back this way. We're opening that for later. This all makes sense if you want to do a walkthrough of this yourself. And we've got to do this all again, so I hate this bit. The second most hated room. So make sure we're lined up, and we need to go a little bit further forward. So make sure you're 1, crouched, 2, at the lowest angle, and 3, the smallest step size. Yeah, we could be good there. Could be good. Now water's starting to run a little bit low here, and I don't think we'll encounter another water trough before the final confrontation in the sun god Re's chamber at the very top of the pyramid. So we need to perhaps pick up the speed a little bit here before water runs out. Otherwise, you're going to have to backtrack quite a lot to the last water trough you found, and then come all the way back again. So we're just going to try and do this as quickly as possible. Now we can go through this weird grey thing on the wall. Now what you need to do is just run into it a few times and then move backwards, and it'll take you and warp you to this location. Hurrah! Notice the bird on the wall there? We saw that bird on the wall not too long ago where that small block was. No need to shoot it. Now we can squeeze through this small passage here. And then we can go up the stairs to the right. Given the change in graphics, now we've got more of a grand staircase. It sort of indicates we're getting deeper and deeper into the pyramid, and higher too. Okay, another little puzzle to solve in this game. I'm going to turn around and do a U-turn facing the door we just come out of. And then we're going to shoot part of the door, and it will make a staircase. There you go. Now it does disappear after a time. There's a block in the way, but we've got plenty of anks, and the anks will clear those blocks. So think of them as keys. There's a little puzzle in this room too, but we're going to get the treasure at the top here first. So get a nice straight angle onto it if you can. Unfortunately, we're not completely flush. Oh, we are now. And then we can quickly raid that treasure. Wow, mega score. And then we can actually shoot this little mini staircase thingy to reveal a hidden door. Hurrah! I don't know why I had a look around there. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I was potentially looking for a water trough or something. One more puzzle here. Sorry, one more treasure vase or whatever here. Let's get nicely lined up. We've got plenty of time. Remember, we've got 10 o'clock on the watch. We're not even. We've just gone 9:15, so plenty of time. And a huge amount of treasure there. Nice. And we can go through this doorway here, which is blocked, but we've got plenty of anks. So we do need to collect all those anks we did earlier. There you go. That's you see that wall to the right there? That got revealed there. That wall was revealed when we shot that head on the wall where we had to cross over that bridge with the room with the 5 doors. Shoot that head and that will get us here. Okay, very close to the end. Crawl onto this and then stand up and you get warped to Rhee's chamber. This is the end. Right. Now, don't walk into the middle of the floor. Keep to the edges of the wall and the sides. Now, Rhee the Sun God is shooting us repeatedly here. But we wanted to beat him, or her, you need to get behind this statue. But stick to the sides of the walls. I'm panicking there a little bit, but we're okay now. Get behind the statue. And then you need to shoot it about 30 or 40 times. And then the game is won. There you go, curse overcome. And here's the ending. So the total eclipse has occurred, but the moon hasn't exploded, and the game is won with a total final score of 4,397,500. And there we go. GG! And now the game goes into like a demo mode, which is kind of cool. So overall, guys, I find this difficult to score. If you like making maps and taking time with a game, it's definitely a 90%er. If not, then maybe it's a 60-70%er for you. So I'm going to go somewhere in the middle and give this like a... I was going to give an 8 out of 10, but it is impressive, so I'm going to give it an extra half mark. I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. So there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed this, I will perhaps look at doing more Freescape games. Maybe we'll look at the sequel to this one, or maybe we'll look at Castle Master. And yeah, so there we go. Let me know in the comments what you think and all that kind of stuff. And more Longplay reviews every Monday and Amstreams, live streams on a Friday. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please click a like below, leave a comment, and also subscribe if you haven't already. And over that way, there's another video for you to check out. Zypho, out.